Again. On this day, gymnastics has borrowed from its basketball counterpart, and that it is a tournament style of competition that we have set up. In the first round, there were 12 gymnasts. That field was whittled down to 6. Of the 6 competitors that made it in the semifinals, 3 have advanced, and there's a bittersweet story here. Brandy Johnson and Wendy Bruce both compete for the same team. That is Brown's Gymnastics in Altamont, Florida. They are both standing by with our Bart Connor, and he'll talk about that very situation.
First of all, Wendy and Brandy, it's going to be a close competition tonight. I think you'll probably even admit that Brandy is the favorite. She's coming into this round with the highest score. But your teammate here is looking really hot in the semifinals. Does that put a little pressure on you?
I just really want to concentrate on my routines and hit them the best I can.
Are you pleased with how things are going up to this point?
So far, yeah.
What would you like to do better tonight?
Just have no mistakes on my routines and hopefully score a 10 on one of them.
Now, what about the pressure here? Of course, Brandy is #1 girl in the United States right now. She seems to really be on her game. Can you beat her?
I'm not really worried about beating her or anything. I'm just going to do my routines and hit them and try to do the best I can.
What about this rivalry? Has that put a little strain on a friendship between the two of you?
Well, we tried not to let our gymnastics interfere with our friendship, and out of the gym, we're friends, and in the gym, we're gymnasts.
Now, I noticed there's a lot of competition on the floor as well as off the floor. We're all serious. We're worried about this pressure of competition, and yet you guys are checking out some guy in the audience. Are you competitive for boys as well?
No.
Well, be serious. This is important stuff. Good luck to both of you. Leandra?
Thank you, Bart Connor. Our giggly teenagers have forgotten one very strong factor, and that is Lisa Panzironi. She may very well indeed be #1 when all is said and done. The 1989 U.S. Gymnastics Challenge continues now from Denver, Colorado. The first apparatus for the women is the vault. But before we get to our competitors, let's take a look at how they advanced to these finals. In round 1, Brandy Johnson had 39.475. In the second round, she slipped a little 39.250. Wendy Bruce slipped it also from the first round to the second round, 0.625 to 0.550. And Lisa Panzironi, her best score was in the first round, 39.625. So both ladies, or I should say all 3 ladies, had a little bit of trouble in the second round, in that possibly altitude is becoming a factor.
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch them on their opening event here, vault, because this is the event where they're most evenly matched. They're all doing similar vaults, and we'll be able to compare them and hopefully know why one gets a higher score than the other.
Certainly it's easier to compare them when they are head-to-head against each other, but we are a mile above sea level. These gymnasts are not frequently asked to perform optionals again and again and again. Plus there's the concentration pressure and the television pressure, something that these ladies are not quite accustomed to just yet. And this is the face of Wendy Bruce.
Springs, Florida. Please welcome Wendy Bruce.
Wendy Bruce is 16 years of age.
Her qualifying vault scores in both the first and the second round were 9.85. She's going to do a vault called a Yurchenko with a full in a laid-out position. Good start.
Wendy Bruce performing her first vault.
I'm sure her coach Kevin Brown was making sure she remembers to get a good block right here so that she can hang it up in the air.
9.8.
Her hands hit a little lightly on the pommel horse. You want to drill it back into the horse a little bit more so she can hang it up a little bit higher so she can land straight up and down and stick the landing rather than over rotating as she did. But boy, in the air, perfect form, tight body line, nicely done.
9.825 is the score. We call it a Yurchenko, but if you break it down, it's really a round-off back handspring with a twist.
Right, back off with a twist. Here we go. Oh, that wasn't as good. She didn't quite have the rotation that she did on the first one, partly because her hands just barely touched the horse when she went over on the back handspring part. Let's see if we can see what happens here. She does the round off onto the board. Now watch her hand position as she goes to the horse. Right here, she's just on her fingertips. She didn't quite get a solid push. That left her a little short with the rotation. Once again, round off and back handspring. Very light push. Not the kind of block that she needed. Her first vault, of course, will be the better score.
The second vault got a 9.75. You're right, the first one will count. 9.825 for Wendy Bruce. Her teammate and opponent is Brandy Johnson.
Second vaulter, and here she is, 15-year-old Brandy Johnson.
Brandy was born in Tallahassee, currently lives in Altamont Springs, Florida.
Brandy's doing the same vault. There's few people in the world that do it this well.
You're not kidding.
And I've seen her do it better, but still, that was pretty incredible. Stierchenko with a full, laid out. Notice her hand position when she goes onto the horse. She drills into the horse a little bit, and her arms are pretty bent when she hits the horse right there. I've seen her do it with a little straighter arms in a more efficient blocking position. Boy, but great form, perfect toe point, legs together, and a good landing.
9.9, the score for the first vault.
Isn't that amazing? It's a 9-9, and yet we've seen her do it better.
Now ready for vault number 2 for
Well,
Brandy
she said in
Johnson.
her interview she'd like to get a 10. Maybe we'll see it here.
This is the place where she can do it. The technique is perfect. It's just a matter of whether she can stick it. Oh, she was really fighting that landing. She had a couple of little steps, but that was a much better position on the block. You'll notice that she had straighter arm position when she reached to the horse.
And the score for that
Note the
second
arms
vault,
when she
another
actually makes contact with the horse. A little bit straighter than they were on the first vault. She didn't quite have the air time that she normally has, though, and that, of course, didn't allow her to stick it. But this was technically so perfect. Look at the form. Notice the toe point in the air. That's hard stuff to do.
Well, they only took off for the few steps because this vault, too, was scored as a 9.9. Either one will count. 9.9 for Brandy Johnson. Again, Wendy Bruce received a 9.825. And now it is time for Lisa Panzironi to vault. We spoke with her earlier and asked her about the impact that gymnastics has had on her life. She's very young, yet it has taken her all around the world.
Well, I think I've had a lot more experience, like maturing-wise, because I lived away from home for a year, so that helped. And going to different countries and seeing different cultures and stuff, it's been a totally different experience from regular 16-year-old who just goes to school and does sports in school and stuff like that.
Lisa Panzironi has been to Spain, England, Canada, and many points in between.
Lisa's going to attempt the same vault that we saw the other two gymnasts do. Let's see if we can compare. In one category, she was better than the other two. She had more distance from the horse. The judges are looking for good, clean form, good, tight pre-flight position, good height, and distance from the horse. Notice she does a good job here, good block. She really carries back away from the horse. Takes one small step on the landing.
We could see a difference, though, in the form. You know, just comparing it to Brandy Johnson's. Her legs are a little bit apart, toes aren't quite as pointed.
Right, she had just a minor form deduction. She had to grab her legs there to pull the rotation around.
And the score for the first vault was 9.75.
Good landing, although the pre-flight wasn't the way she wanted it. She did a nice job in compensating and sticking the landing. You'll notice on this one, when she reaches back to the horse, her arms are quite bent. But she does a good job. Notice right there, she's in pretty deep, but she really pushes and pulls this one out.
The score for the second vault was 9.625. The first vault is the one that will carry 9.75. Brandy Johnson's our leader with a 9.9. Wendy Bruce is second with 9.825. We'll be back with the uneven parallel bars for the women in just a moment. Welcome back to Denver, Colorado. We're 1/4 of a way through our final competition here at the 1989 U.S. Gymnastics Challenge, and the women are just fractions apart. Brandy Johnson looking for that elusive 10, came close, but not quite, with a 9.9 on her vault. Wendy Bruce is in second, followed by Lisa Panzironi. And the women are now at the uneven parallel bars, and the order of competition will be Brandy Johnson, followed by Lisa Panzironi, with Wendy Bruce performing third.
Brandy was complaining before the event that in the earlier rounds, she actually hit her wrist on the bar on her second release move and sort of bruised her wrist. So we'll watch to see how she handles it today. She does 2 release moves. Her first big release comes right at the beginning. It's a reverse hecht. And then she goes to the front between the bars. There's the reverse hecht. Nice. Here comes the front. Okay, that's just right. She had trouble in the preliminaries. She was too close.
Working nicely tonight, though.
Right to the handstand on the cast. Look at the power on these giants. Full turn. Another giant to a tuck double back. Wow.
And sticks it. What a great performance by Brandy Johnson. That's the kind of style that got her first place at the American Cup.
And her coach, Kevin Brown, really did a great job at teaching her this reverse hecht. Look at how high she is. Incredible form. She segues right into a front between the bars, and today it was right on.
Score for Brandy Johnson, 9
Here's the giant, half. Straddle back through, another giant swing, and this tuck double back is like no one else.
Sure was a great routine. The judges gave it a 9.875. And that 9.875 represents a record in this U.S. Challenge. She had owned the earlier record of 9.825. She increased it by 0.05 of a point. Lisa Panzironi is up second. She competes for Parkettes. Her coach on hand is John Holman. Bill and Donna Strauss run the program at Allentown, Pennsylvania, called Parkettes.
The judges are looking for big swinging elements like the giant swing here. Nice reverse hecht. That's a release move. They need to see that. Oh. She tried the same combination exactly that Brandy Johnson did, the front between the bars after the reverse hecht. She'll lose 0.5 of a point and continue on, as she's doing very nicely here. Giant swing to a pike double. Oh.
What a disappointment for Lisa.
She had trouble on the dismount. I'm sure that she broke concentration, because when she had problems on the front between the bars, I think it really surprised her. She did this reverse hecht just right. She's right where she wanted to be. Let's see what happens. Here's a straddle front. Looked like she hit on her wrist and then bounced past her fingertips, and there wasn't much she could do in terms of gripping the bar. She went ahead to continue with the giant to a pike double. She let go a hair early and kind of slung it out, and of course, it's hard to pull the rotation around from that point. Once again, let's see what happens here. It's a pike double back. She's just pulling it around like crazy, but not much she can do.
This is going to be very difficult for her to overcome if she's still considering first place in this meet. 8.650 with the balance beam still to come. We still have one more performer on the uneven parallel bars, and that is Wendy Bruce.
Watch her reverse hecht. All 3 girls are doing the same mount and a similar move right here. Look at that. Her coach, Kevin Brown, really knows how to teach those moves, because his girls do them beautifully. Nice front flip, Jaeger flip.
Nice continuity.
She's very quick and aggressive, and I think this style is going to be very impressive to the judges. Look at her power, those giants. Here's a tuck double. Wow. She's on.
It's become a 2-dog fight between Wendy Bruce and Brandy Johnson. And Kevin Brown can't lose.
He really has the technique that he has taught his girls on these moves. You can see she does a blind change there through to a straddle.